What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Protobro here, infamous brother to Megabro, late August 1863, and I'm going to show you a couple things that happened between late July and late August. So we're over here in the Mississippi. This is Indiana, as you can see here. And what ended up happening was we attacked this artillery that was kind of floating on its own. We actually won that battle. As you can see, we had 3 cavalry attack it. He had the 1 artillery, and we captured it. So we've got the 12-pounder here that we're going to move back and merge it with our core here, so that's pretty good. We pulled back behind the river here, behind the, I think, the Ohio, I think this is here. And we're going to set up shop here in basically mid or central Kentucky. Again, as you can see here with the state map, this is Kentucky, the red, and we have up to here, and he has eastern Kentucky, but really the important parts of Kentucky are ours, namely Bowling Green, Louisville, and then right here behind the river. So we've got 2 corps here under Johnston. That's the army that's holding down the fort on the eastern portion of our, I guess, western frontier. The central part of our western frontier is held by Johnston. We've got Forrest here under 1 corps, hanging out behind this river here. It's a very nice defensive position. And then we got Forney up here, who's kind of a little bit more forward. If I could flip these corps commanders, I would. I've been tempted to do it, but I do like the composition that I have right here. So I'm going to keep these guys kind of back. But I've got hospital here, engineers to increase the entrenchment works. I've got the HQ. So I think we're in a pretty good position here. It doesn't look like he's making a movement on my central area. It looks like he's kind of holding pat. Trying to get as much military control as I can. And again, if he moves forward on Johnson here, I'm going to move with the Army of the Mississippi in his rear and hit him that way. So he hasn't done anything with Davis, mainly because he doesn't have an army anymore. So we wiped him out pretty effectively. And then over here on the far west, we were able to stem the blue tide, at least for now. So I've got Polk here with 2 corps. So Polk's got 1 division, which isn't very much. I like to have at least 2 divisions. That's kind of my rule of thumb, is 2 or more per stack, unless it's going to be its own independent division. But right now I don't have the troops for it. So got him there. I've got a fleet this way. I don't think it's going to block his crossing because you really need 4. And yeah, that's not really doing any good. Let's put him there. So he could still probably technically cross. Yeah, let me put him in this. If I put him in this region, he won't be able to cross. So he won't be able to move on St. Louis. And then I've got 2 divisions here under AP Hill, and then I've got 2 divisions under Holmes. I'm going to try and beef these guys up as we move along. So there's that. Give him that. I did not realize that he's got that, so I'm going to hold him there. He's kind of a reserve until I find who needs a sharpshooter. Bless me, sorry. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm going to hold here behind this river, and then I'm going to use my cavalry, Indian cavalry and otherwise, just to kind of go around his rear and tear up his rail lines and make it very difficult for him to move forward, and that's going to be our defensive position, really probably for the rest of the game, at least on the far west. Over here, I'm still open to the possibility of moving on him. I just don't have the troops right now to really do it, at least in my opinion. I could certainly be more aggressive, but what's the point, right? As a Confederacy, you're just trying to survive until 66. If you can get a morale victory, great, but really you're just trying to survive until 66. So over here, Western Virginia, we've got 298 force holding down the strategic location of Morgantown. I left Beauregard here for now because I wanted to attach Smith to Lee's army so that Lee now has 4 corps. He's got D.H. Hill here, and then he's got Longstreet, Jackson, and then Smith, so that Smith can support any further attacks on Jackson. There was another attack on Jackson, which I'll show you in a moment. He's starting to kind of wear a little thin here on his divisions. McLaws is doing okay, but Ewell and Stewart are starting to look a little thin there. So now I've got Smith here to support, as well as D.H. Hill. We did get Hampton last turn, so move him over with Fitzhugh Lee, and I'm going to restructure my cavalry over here, figure out what I'm going to do with that. Probably build some more cavalry so I can have 2 robust cavalry divisions roaming the fields, and kind of go from there on that. And then as far as Western Virginia is concerned, I think I'm going to hold pat behind this river. His attack on Harpers Ferry, although unexpected, did stem my attack over here on Pittsburgh, which is fine. Pittsburgh is really just more of a, hey, I've got nothing better to do, so I'm going to move on it if I can. It ended up making him attack me, and I've definitely gotten the much better of the end on all those attacks. So I'm very happy that he attacked me at Harpers Ferry. I'm moving, as you can see, partisans and our rangers around his rear to tear up his rail lines, as I've been doing most of the game. Ironically enough, and I don't know if I've ever had this happen as a Confederacy, I ran out of conscripts. I spent a lot of money. I had $1,500 to start. What I had done was in this tab here, I print bail bonds, and I forget what the other option is, but I did both. The other one costed me 2 morale, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying to get a morale victory anyways. And that gave me 1,500 big ones. Our inflation is 4%, which isn't too bad as a Confederacy. I'm going to hold off printing money for a while because that will add 4% inflation. But in return, I was able to do a lot of things here. As you can see, I was able to put 3 additional replacement chits into the elite infantry. I was able to put 8 into my line infantry, so not next turn, but the turn after that. We'll see rewards for that. I need 352 replacements, so I definitely need a lot here. That's going to cost me a fair amount. Put some in militia, put one in my raiders, and then I put some artillery. And then on top of all that, I also built a bunch of infantry. So these Alabama boys don't have 6-pounders attached to them, which is awesome. I always try and build infantry stacks without artillery, unless they're 12-pounders, which are these Tennessee guys. But these Alabama boys, I'm going to bring over to the east, to Virginia, to rebuild some of the lost troops over here, over in Harpers Ferry. Now, before we proceed to the next turn, let me just show you the battle over in Harpers Ferry. It happened on day 12. It was a 6-hour battle. We got a 6 national morale point gain from that. Phenomenal. So I'll show you the strategic screen after we're done with this. We had 40,900 troops. We lost 5,600. We lost about an eighth of our cavalry and a few artillery. The number of artillery you use can be a good indicator about basically how close the battle was. The reason I say that is typically you're not going to lose artillery until the assault phase, which is really towards the end of the battle. And if you lose a lot of artillery, that basically tells you that it was close, right? Like the enemy was right up on you, and only through the use of grape shot, canister, and bayonet were you able to fend off the enemy. It was a 6-hour battle, as I mentioned before. He had 72,000 troops. He lost 14,700 and then 1,000 cavalry and 46 artillery. So he lost a lot more artillery than we did. He had a river crossing penalty. And as you can see here in hour 1, we've got Jackson's Corps only. And we had some pretty impactful artillery, even though these guys didn't really have a whole lot of artillery. It was really Ransom who's got all our artillery. And he inflicted 30 hits and 286 cohesion. So this is a good illustration of how all division artillery can be pretty impactful on the battlefield, especially when you're the Union and you can afford to just load up on 20-pounders. Because you got a whole bunch of 20-pounders in the division that's going to do a lot of cohesion hits. So right off the bat, he's got a river crossing penalty, and he gets hit with a whole bunch of cohesion because of the artillery barrage. So we're doing pretty well. 128 hits. He only did 12 that first round. Second round, 71-27. Again, we fared much better. Some of our reinforcements have arrived. So specifically D.H. Hill, which is where Lee is located across the river. And he came over with his corps to support Jackson. Now, it's really important to note here that D.H. Hill has a 5 strategic rating. I believe that impacts their ability to respond to the sound of guns. So you obviously want to have corps commanders that have good strategic rating, but I think it also impacts their ability to move to the sound of the guns, as well as the rapidity with which they move to the sound of the guns. All right, so really quick here, just go through round 3 through 6. Now it's getting a little bit more even. Artillery shot off. Artillery shot off another devastating barrage. They also got some bad luck, though. However, still inflicted 24 cohesion. It's okay. Considering he didn't have any reinforcements, that's actually not too bad, given hour 3. Again, he got some more fires off, so we got several lucky shots. And 80 cohesion from this artillery division. As you can see, bad luck with Stewart, but then barrages and so forth from our generals. So our generals performed well, and then ultimately we had the end of result with the... Sorry, guys. With the 9,000 differentiation of casualties. All right, so I'm going to simulate the turn, and I will be back. Let me just make sure there wasn't anything else of import before we proceed. Raise taxes, that's what we did. That's what caused us to 2 morale. And then as you can see here, we also got with the economic sunrise, inflation lowered by 1%, which is good, actually. It's not bad. Carried 13 money, 3 war supply through the Harpers. Over here in the Atlantic blockade, we suffered some hits from his patrolling force. Thanks to our victory over in Harpers Ferry, we recovered 4,000 rifles and 10,500 prisoners. I mean, that's amazing. So finally, before we proceed, let me just show you this. Okay, he's down to 74 morale, which is still, not too bad for the Union, really. He's inflicted 174,000 casualties, or he's lost 174,000 casualties. We've lost 97,900. We've, however, taken 63,500 prisoners. So if you add that onto the 90s or the 174, it's pretty significant. To be honest with you, I don't know how his morale was really this high, considering the differential in casualties as well as the number of losses he suffered, but whatever. His 88 power, that is actually pretty low for the Union. Probably should be a bit higher. But our foreign intervention is actually 26%. I mean, it's not too bad. Although I think you need it like 50 or 70 or something ridiculous to get the Brits involved. And really the only time the Brits are going to get involved is you're like up in Pennsylvania or something. And I'm not in a position just yet to pursue that. So maybe 64. We'll see. One of my goals this year was to inflict some casualties on the Union, and we've definitely done that at Harpers Ferry, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And then we were also able to sustain our gains in Illinois and Indiana, so I'm happy with that as well. All right, next turn, and I will see you on the flip side. All right, this is going to be a quick video, but I just wanted to conclude this video with early October 63. As you can see here in Nevada, we did demonstrations, which got the loyalty of the Confederacy above 50%, which allowed us to land our partisans here. And because they didn't have any troops inside the city, we were able to secure Nevada, so that'll be another 10,000 a turn to go along with Clear Creek, Colorado, which is otherwise known as Golden City. So we'll get 20,000 from those two, which is desperately needed for our cash, as you can see here. We do have some more rebels down here just kind of hanging out. That's more for a supply issue more than anything. And then down here we are besieging still Nevada City, trying to secure that. I don't know if I'm going to actually take it, but as you can see, our supply is good. We're not suffering any supply issues down here. So it's always possible that... so what will happen is when you're inside a city, if you don't have any supply wagons inside the city, which he does not, then every turn there's like kind of a roll of the dice like Dungeons and Dragons, where if you don't land a high enough number, you just automatically surrender. So even though he's got like 200 power here, and we only have 16, it's still a possibility that he may surrender this area at some point. We'll see. I'm just happy that I got one, let alone two gold mines. So that's a lot of money for us right there. Over here, I'm moving Beauregard over to replace Polk. I'm going to move Polk back over to Richmond, just because I don't necessarily foresee any kind of, battle going on at Richmond anytime soon. And if there is, and it becomes that significant of a situation, then I'm just going to have to move Lee down to Richmond anyways. So I'm going to move Polk back that way. I'm going to move Beauregard over here. Beauregard's going to face off against Grant, which Grant is now a 3-star, so I'm assuming he's overseeing Sheridan. and that'll bolster my defense over here because these are some of his best generals in the entire Union military. So I'm going to bring Beauregard over, who has a 5 defense, along with some other strategic gradients. Up northern Illinois, kind of the same situation as you can see. I'm trying to get military control where I can. I'm ripping up rail lines where I can, making it as difficult as possible for him to make any kind of move on my northernmost western defensive line here. Originally, I tore up the rail lines here, but I'm actually thinking about maybe making a move east with Johnson's army. We'll see. It is already, kind of coming up on the winter time. But I'm going to move my forces forward, repair the rail lines. We'll see what it leaves us. I did reinforce Morgan's army. I moved him out of this area because I don't see a need for him to defend there anymore. As you can see, he's got some cavalry and then 1 6-pound artillery. It's horse-drawn. I'm going to move him forward, repair the rail lines, go from there. Same with this here. And then I'm trying to rip up the rail lines here behind McClellan. I'm not altogether successful, so I'm going to move forward some of my partisans here and then see if I can be a little bit more successful with that. But as you can see up here, up in Ohio, or are we still in Illinois? Yeah, or Indiana. So we're still in Indiana over here. I'm ripping up the rail lines back here, just trying to make it as difficult as possible for him to use his own rail lines to reinforce his front. West Virginia. So I'm moving my cavalry forward. I'm going to take out this barricade, burn it to the ground, really for no other purpose other than to deny him another barricade. I'm not really doing anything there. Other than that, I just don't like my cavalry sitting around doing nothing, so that's why I'm doing that there. I'm trying to get military control of all of Western Virginia. So we have a good part of Western Virginia now secure, having Morgantown and Clarksville, or something like that. Clarksburg. And, whoops, get back in the defense. No, we lost our defense. That's fine. But what we're going to be doing is trying to get military control wherever we can, to get Western Virginia locked down. As you can see, I've got Mosby. He's obviously better for raiding and whatnot, but I figured I'm doing pretty well in the raiding as far as the rail lines and stuff, so I figured use him for some military control. I'm going to move him back to Morgantown and then move him up and rip up the rail line up there once he's resupplied. Virginia, here is D.H. Hills, 2255 Corps, Longstreet 3198. We just added Pegram to the Corps. He's going to give us some bonus to cavalry, and then I also got the artillery bonus. So out of the 3 corps, I think Longstreet's probably the most well-rounded of the 3 corps. D.H. Hill in the middle here. I did reinforce Jackson with some troops from Richmond, desperately needed, of course. So now all 3 divisions here are pretty much fully manned. He's still hanging out in our region here, but he's got some supply issues, so I'm not altogether concerned. We also, as you can see, have now added the bonuses of defense. So instead of, what is this? It's 4. What is his defensive bonus now? 7. So we now have 7 defensive bonus on the entrenchment side. And then I also have Smith here to act as support to Jackson in case he attacks. I think my force is now large enough to where he cannot move anywhere other than back. So I don't think he can move against Smith. He definitely cannot move against Winchester. So he either has to attack or move back across the river, I believe. I guess we'll see, right? I still have DC blockaded. I love that. It's so great. I have the capital, the theoretically most powerful capital in the world, blockaded as the rebels. So you got to think that's having some impact on the national morale, right? I don't know. We'll see. He's up to 80. I don't know how that happened. Why his morale went up to 80, even though mine went up to 145, and his power went down to 74 from 88. That's kind of mind-boggling, but whatever. He still has this fleet down here kind of hanging out. It's got some military control, whatever. I'm not blockaded in New Orleans, though, so that's what's important on that end. And I am besieging Galveston still, but I did do one of those mines. Let me show you. One of these landmines right here. And apparently it worked. So we have one breach. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can take this, finally get it back. It is a strategic location, as you can see. And then finally, in the far west, I get a little bored over here, kind of waiting around, being like, you know what? Nothing's happened over here. Let's do something. So I took him. I gave him some line infantry, mounted line infantry, and I burned this town to the ground. Hell yeah. So that town is no longer there. I'm 100% supplied, so why not? Let's attack. I'm trying to create as much of a gap as possible between him and my capital of, what is this, Texas down here? El Paso, whatever. So hopefully we can do that. Just keep pushing. I'm trying to get some military control here, although he's at 0%, so let's get him back down here to resupply. Alright, and cool. Golden. Alright, military control, oh, 95, 98. I try to get military control wherever I can, because if the opponent attacks you and he doesn't have any military control, and there's a lot of military control he has to procure before arriving at his intended destination, then it has a big impact on his supply and his movement, and also combat penalty if you attack him. So that's why I try and get as much military control as I can. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please check out my tutorial on military control. That will explain a lot. Okay, so last but not least, Indian Territory. This is kind of like the middle area of my map. He's got a dude hanging out here. I think he's making a move on the supply depot over here. That's actually a pretty good supply area. I hate to lose that, but also I have no use for it, so whatevs. But I'm going to make a move on his just to kind of maybe make him think twice about going over there. Maybe make him backtrack. We'll see. I don't really necessarily care if I lose these two areas, because look at the gap between there and you know, middle Texas. But I also don't like to give up places uncontested. So I'm trying to do what I can here to distract him and perhaps make him backtrack. Okay, with that, I'm going to simulate the turn. This is the end of this video, and next video we'll see what happened and go from there. Thanks guys, appreciate it. As always, if you found this video interesting or something you think somebody else would like, then please like the video. Again, it helps other people find the game, the video, and perhaps perk interest in this game for other people. All right, thanks guys, take care.